Flygirl, Chapter 6. Mama, there's a white lady coming up the walk. I can hear Abel's voice ring out, calling to Mama in another part of the house. Sound travels farther than I ever thought out here in the strawberry fields. I turn around to see who's been following me from the turn off the road. It takes a second for me to realize who he's talking about. Me. I walk down the little road that becomes our driveway. Gloves on my hands, and Mrs. Wilson's hat still perched on top of my head, my face half hidden behind the blue veil. I forgot to change. I wanted to get home so bad. Well, there's nothing to do about it now. I can bring the hat and the stole back tomorrow morning. The stockings feel silky against my legs. No wonder Jolene loves them so much. I'll have to wash them and give them back to her scented with lavender perfume to say thank you. The farmhouse door opens up and Mama steps out in the porch. The minute she looks at me, I know she doesn't see a white lady. She sees something else. Her face goes blank. "Hi, Mama," I say, and close the last few feet between me and the front steps. She lets me get halfway up, her hands resting lightly clasped in the front of her apron. I smile up at her, and she slaps me. Hard. Tears fill my eyes. "Mama!" "Don't you mama me," Ida Mae Jones. "One look and I can tell what you've been doing. Playing at that same mess as your daddy's people. Do you think white folks don't know? Do you think they can't tell who you are? A high yellow pudding on airs and a borrowed hat." She comes towards me all the way to the last step and holds onto the banister as if she's on a ship and I've gone overboard, lost at sea. "You take back that hat and those stockings and whatever ideas have gotten into your head, girl. You are part of this family. All the clothes in the world can't change that." I blink back my tears. My mouth opens, but I don't know what to say. "I didn't think..." And then I see the tears in my mother's eyes. The porch door swings open and Abel peeks out. "Ida?" The look Mama gives him sends him scampering away. I hear the side door slam open and shut, and I know he's gone to find Grandy. I drop to my knees, and in the dust of the driveway, the gravel scraping the tender stockings on my legs. I can't look at anything but the gloves on my hands, Mama's Sunday gloves. I hear Mama go back up the stairs. The front door creaks and she's gone. "Go clean yourself up, Ida," Grandy says as he comes around the side of the house, his work boots crunching on the gravel. "Then you can explain yourself." I look up and Abel is hiding scared behind Grandy's legs. Neither of them reaches to help me as I pull myself up to my feet. No one holds the door for me when I follow them inside. In the bathroom, I wash my face twice. The red rims around my eyes won't go away, and neither will the tender bruising where Mama slapped me for the first time in my life. I give up and finish getting dressed. There is a tiny hole in Jolene's nylons, right on the knee. Maybe it won't run. Maybe I can buy her a new pair. The girl in the mirror looks hollow, big dark eyes like empty wells. I look unnaturally pale, sickly, almost green. I turn away from my reflection and hang Jolene's hose up to dry. Adjusting the straps on my overalls, I go up downstairs to pay the piper. Grandy and Abel are sitting at the kitchen table. I wish Abel wasn't here for this. There are things he shouldn't have to worry about until he's older. But Mama's always made us sit through each other's talking tos, so we both learn the lesson with only one of us having made the mistake. Mama jumps up from the chair the minute I come in and goes to the window. She won't look at me. I stand in front of all of them, unsure if I should sit down, unsure if I'm welcome. "I knew one day you'd go to see her," Mama says, her voice stained and quiet. I blink in confusion. "Mama?" She turns around and her eyes are as red as mine. "Don't mama me, girl. You know who I'm talking about. Was this for her?" I swallow hard, all the pieces falling into place. No. This wasn't about Grandmere Bordeaux. My mother's mother, French-speaking Creole. My father's mother, French-speaking Creole, light-skinned, Grandmere Bordeaux, has money status that goes with her maiden name. She's my daddy's only immediate family, and we've never even met her. I know where her house is, on one of those streets uptown in the Garden District of New Orleans, one of the old houses built for the free people of color before the Civil War, a fashionable neighborhood for the almost white. The rest of the family would never dare set foot there. Thomas's hair's too kinky, Abel's skin too brown, but I've got the right complexion, the right texture in my hair. I'd fit right in. She could take me to Paris if she wanted to where colored women could learn to fly, just like Bessie Coleman, the first colored woman pilot. Of course, my father's mother and I wouldn't need to be colored if I didn't want to be. I never knew my mother was afraid of that fact until now. My father's people were town people, city folks who followed opportunity the way a compass follows north. Some time back, one of them found herself with child by a white man. They steered that half-colored girl down a path that made each generation lighter than light, having children by white men and marrying those children to other mixed colors, lighter and whiter, until my father was born. Daddy was destined to marry a white woman, to be a passe blanc, and give his family a better lot in life. But Daddy wasn't an opportunist. He was romantic, and his heart chose Mama. Grandmere Bordeaux never forgave Daddy for his choice of brown-skinned bride or his career as a strawberry farmer, which he learned from Grandy and mixed with his college learning. Grandmere drove out to our house only once when I was 9 years old to have a look at us. As Daddy said, a look was all it was, too. She drove up in a brand-new Studebaker, caked with country dust, our dust. The back window rolled down slowly as the car came to a stop at the end of our driveway. It never turned to come up to the house. From the front steps, itching in my Sunday best, between a stiff-jawed Thomas and unusually quiet Mama, I caught my only glimpse of Grandmere Bordeaux through that open window. She was fair, not like milk, but cream, the good kind you pour into coffee on special occasions, the same shade as the paper flowers in Mama's old Easter hat. Her hair fell in soft graying finger waves, like a movie star. Her powdered skin was set in an expression so severe it looked like it hurt. Her mouth was a firm red slash in that pale, pale face. One of her gloved fingers went up in the air like she was pointing at a bird. The window rolled back up, and the Studebaker drove away. Mama harumphed the way she does when she knows I'm lying, and marched us back inside to put on our regular play clothes. Daddy just sat down on the front steps, his hat in his hands, and he hung his head. I've never seen him like that before. Later that night, when Mama gave me my bath, I asked her how I could be like Grandmere. Her jaw clenched real tight, and she said, "Marry a white man." Mama seems to deflate when she hears I haven't been to see Grandmere Bordeaux, a sigh of relief that loosens her shoulders and makes her seem like my mother again. Grandy sighs and gets up from the table. My eyes follow his back as he starts to make a pot of coffee. "Young woman, you'd best not be setting after a fellow like that," he says, without turning around. I blush, but it's feeling of relief. "Only one fella, Grandy. Thomas. That gets everyone's attention, even Abel." Grandy comes back to the table but doesn't sit down. Mama sits real still, her eyes on me. "I had an interview to join the Women Air Force Service pilots, and it looks like I may have a shot." I smile in spite of myself and drop it just as fast. No one saying anything. I swallow hard. Remember that article Abel gave me? Abel ducks his head so Mama can't see his smile. "Oh, Lord," Grandy says under his breath. "What are you talking about, girl?" Mama asks. "You might be able to fake white, but even you can't fake being a pilot." I didn't think I could feel more ashamed than I already did, but I leave it to Mama to get me there. "I used Daddy's license," I say quietly. Now I'm the one ducking my head. My mother gets up and walks away. I can't let it happen like this. "Just listen to me. Just listen to me." I all but shout, and Mama stops in her tracks. I never raised my voice to her and gotten away with it, but I'm not a little girl anymore. "Somebody has got to do something, so I went. I put my name on Daddy's license, and I went and got an interview. And you know what? I wasn't hiding anything when I went to that room, and I sat face to face with an actual woman, Army Air Force's pilot. And do you know what she saw? Not a Negro woman, not a white woman, not a high yellow, but a pilot, Mama, a good pilot that they need. Don't you see, this is what Daddy used to fly for. The chance to be everything other than the color of his skin." No one says anything, and I realize I'm on my feet and my heart is beating fast. Maybe Uncle Sam doesn't care about Thomas. Maybe a colored soldier doesn't have a chance in the world. But I do, Mama. So what if they think I'm white? Let them see what they want to see. I'm still me. Mama laughs, then a low chuckle. She leans up against the door jamb, and for a minute she doesn't look like my mama anymore. She looks like the woman in my parents' wedding picture. Young and full of pride. The picture ran in the paper the only time Daddy's mother ever saw her new daughter-in-law up close. Baby, you don't know what you're getting into. You do not know. But your daddy did. He knew what his mother was asking of him every day, to turn his head away from his people, but never really hold his head up with white folks either. Always looking in the mirror, making sure his hair stayed straight, his skin stayed light. Do you know there's a whole side to the family he wasn't allowed to see? Didn't want to be marked colored by association. Are you prepared for that? Are you willing to give up your brothers, Grandy, and me? I don't say anything. We are that side of the family, 'cause Daddy married Mama. My jaw tightens, but I don't back down. I've gotten this far, but I'm not going to let anything stop me now. Besides, plenty of folks have passed for a better job, like Stevia Johnson. What I'm doing is no different, except it can help my brother win the war. Mama must see the determination in my face, because she leans in close and jabs a finger into the tabletop. Listen to me, girl, because you are young and you don't know. I'm here to tell you, you cross that line. You cannot cross back just as you please. Look at her, at Mrs. Genevieve Bordeaux. And I'm proud to even visit her own grandchildren or go to her son's funeral. And now this. Mama shakes her head. I hope to God you don't get in. I hope to God you never learn what your daddy already knew. She looks at me with such sorrow I think my heart will break. Ida May, every fear, every hope, a dozen slaps, and 1,000 hugs are in those 2 words, my name. She repeats it. Ida May. On the stove, Grandy's coffee comes to a boil. Abel want a sugar lump of coffee? Grandy says, quiet through all of this. I'm Mama's child to raise, not his. If he has something to say, he'll take it up with her later. Abel happily scrambles off to his chair to get a saucer of his little sip of coffee. Grandy puts a half spoon of sugar on the saucer and adds 2 spoonfuls of coffee. Thomas and I used to do the same thing when we were his age. The house feels stuffy all of a sudden, and I'm going to get some air, I say. Grandy nods, pours a cup of coffee for himself and for Mama. I hear them out on the porch, rocking and murmuring low as I find a place to sit down in the fields. The stars are coming out, I count them and my blessings, and wonder if Mama is right.